Hello, hello, hello. Hi, Terry. You are always here, which is so great. So nice to have you, Terry. Happy to have you here. Let me see. Welcome. Who else is here? Let me know who's here. Let me know if this is your first time with me. Goodness gracious, I seem like I'm too close. I'm going to sit here, but I won't be able to really see too much. All right. So if you're live with me, because there's quite a few of you here that are live, let me know if this is the first time. Let me know what are your biggest needs when it comes to bone health. What are the areas that you have the most challenge in? What do you need the most? I'm going to talk about 4 pillars of bone health when it comes to practicing movement. And this is where yoga therapy, I think, just is so top. Such an important aspect of bringing into our lives. So the 4 pillars are strength, flexibility. We need mobile, limber joints and flexible tissues so that if you do slip, trip, stumble, or fall, you don't pull on your bones and fracture them. We also need posture because most of the fractures are in the spine. So learning about posture is critical. And then the other one is balance for fall prevention, fracture prevention. And this section, where we are today, what we're going to focus on today is balance and learning different aspects of balance, different ways that we can practice strengthening our balance and even ways to monitor our balance. I think that's an important thing as well. So those of you that, if you want to say something to me or Terry, anything in particular you need. One thing about coming here live is that it's amazing, but honestly, I really do tailor to a lot of the requests that happen. All right, so I need to come closer for this. Arlene, great. Perfect, Arlene. I'll talk about that today. All right, thanks. So thanks for saying that because that's something to focus on as well. All right, so the other thing is a lot of people watch this recorded. So if you're watching this recorded, get the version of YouTube where you don't have to watch commercials and then it'll be uninterrupted. And then the other thing is, the other thing I wanted to say is go to my website, debbierobinson.com, to learn about all that I offer. And if you're not in my community already, Stronger Bones Lifestyle Community, Stronger Bones is a lifestyle. This is not do this course, do that course, do this one thing, do that one thing. It is all the things. So join my community, Stronger Bones Lifestyle, really inexpensive. Terry's in there. Hi, Beth. Nice to see you. All right. You love balance classes. Great. We always need it. Okay. Can I just show you ladies something before I go back? In 2020, maybe in 2020, 2021, I planted 150 tubers. So, there's bulbs that we plant in the winter, and then there's something called tubers. They look like little fingers, and dahlias are one of my favorites. So dinner plate dahlias, they usually get really big. I just wanted to show you what I harvested now because it's so much time and energy went into planting these. I love the white ones. They're so creamy when they pop up. And then this one here is so dang symmetric. So when we talk about balance, look at the symmetry in that and the colors and everything. So we have to balance our lives with things that we love and enjoy. And for me, the fruits of my labor when I take care of plants is something that I just love. See my plants here. Yeah, aren't they beautiful? All right, well, let's get started. When it comes to bone health, if you have a diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia, lots of things come up. And I would say that fracture prevention is what I hear the most whenever I do surveys on what is the biggest thing that you need. I also teach live classes and I see over 100 people in person every week. And I have done this since 2010. So at this point, so many that I've observed. And whenever I do ask, what is your biggest concern with aging, is balance. And that, I think, is what brings a lot of people to yoga. People may associate balance with yoga. I'd like to go a little deeper with this concept of balance when it comes to bone health. Balance is really important for bone health for a few reasons. We need the outside balance. We also need the inside balance. And so today in the practice, we're going to do a lot of outside balance, it would seem, yet we're also inside balancing our nervous system, balancing the communication in our body, balancing our internal biochemistry. So when you can develop more strength in your body, more balance, you're going to develop more confidence. That's going to be a positive thing for bone health and for you actually doing more in your life. So the word balance when it comes to bone health is very expansive. It is way beyond standing on one leg. It is such a deeper concept. So today we're really going to get into this and go a little deeper and understand all of these different aspects. And the other thing I'd like to say is that wherever you are is where you are, and that is where you should be. And as you practice balance and strengthening your balance, showing up to here I am today and practicing what you practice in that moment, you're affecting your nervous system, your body tissues, your biochemistry, this pattern communication in the body. And so, and then of course the muscles and that whole neuromuscular communication is being strengthened, challenged. One day is different from the next, depending on your mineralization, your hydration levels. Those are all going to have effect. Your level of fatigue is going to have an effect. So the thing to do is to show up and to do it. And there's a quote I've been saying recently that I used to say years ago, and I want to bring this back into your mindset. Rome wasn't built in a day, and it was built. So it wasn't built in a day. And if you imagine the first day that they decided to build this city called Rome, that very first initial brick, and how many more years and bricks did it take to get to where it is today? It's the same thing with our body, whether it's strength or balance or flexibility or whatever we're working on. And so approach it like that, because I see a lot of defeatism in those that I work with. I see a lot of negative mindset. I have terrible balance. I hear it over and over. And I'm going to tell you that me in my late 50s, almost in the 60s, that I'm not as good at balance as I was when I was in my 30s. I mean, I could do a tree pose, look up at the sky, close my eyes, and hold that for a minute or two in my 30s. I can't do that now, yet I do feel very confident that where I am now with my balance. And we're going to talk today about all of the other factors that matter when it comes to balance. So do your best, leave the rest. Every day come with that positive mindset, because even that is a balanced mental energy, a positive and negative, that's going to have you either show up fully or put you into a place of defeat, feeling already defeated or hopeless. And so having hope and knowing that you can is a very, very big part of working on strength, flexibility, balance, and posture. So for your practice, getting the basic props, your mat, your blanket, your block, and your strap, a wall maybe, a chair maybe, setting yourself up for success, whatever it is you need, go ahead and get that. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to balance our nervous system. And we do that through breath work, through meditation. I'd like to teach you a breath work that's going to give your mind a lot of activity, a lot to be preoccupied with. So you won't be preoccupied with yesterday or tomorrow. In yoga, we say that thoughts of yesterday are depressive. I used to have this. I used to be like this. It used to be like this. Something like that. That's more of the depressive, heavy thinking. And then the futuristic thoughts are anxiety provoking. Oh my gosh, am I going to have enough this? Am I going to have that? Is this going to happen? What's going to happen? And it's a very light, airy, that's an anxiety driven thought process. So past is depression, future is anxiety. We're going to stay present moment. We're going to balance ourselves in this present moment. The breath work I'm going to teach you today is called Savitri Pranayama. It is a rectangle shaped breathing pattern. And this is how it'll go. I'm gonna count for 4 on the inhale and 4 on the exhale. And then we're gonna hold at the top of the inhale and the bottom of the exhale for 2. 4, 2, 4, 2. I'll then move on to 6, inhale, 3, hold your breath, 6, exhale, and 3, hold your breath. So that rectangle shape, I want you to visualize the rectangle. Let your breath, as you're inhaling, go across the top. As you're holding, let your mind go down the side. And as you're exhaling, go along the bottom. And then as you're holding, go along the top. So Savitri Pranayama, it could be done in practice of yoga. It could be done when you're out walking. It's a way to actually focus your mental energy, to balance your mental energy. So we're gonna do that. I'm gonna come down onto the ground and put myself actually into a seated position for this. Some of you may prefer to be resting all the way on the ground. If you'd like to come down onto the ground and put your head on the blanket and put a bolster underneath your knees, if that feels appropriate for you, you could do that. I'm actually going to come into a seated position and I'd like to have support with my seat. So I'll take the blanket and fold it in double. You actually could even fold it again. Maybe I'll do that today. Fold it again. And because this is a beginning and maybe you haven't done too much to open up your body, if you are in the tighter side, then being elevated is good. And if you are near a wall, let me show you another thing to do near a wall to support seated position. And I'm doing this because sitting is not easy, and it's actually how we develop the physical practice of yoga. The ancient rishis, the masters of yoga, they wanted to control their mind. That was their goal. And they would sit for hours doing that, but then their hips would hurt, their back would hurt. So they developed these physical postures to strengthen their body to sit in a seated position. And the reason why seated is better, it's the energetic transmission up and down the spine. So it's the flow of energy, and it allows the lungs to move in the 6 ranges of motion: forward, backward, side to side, top and bottom. So a seated position for meditation and breath work is optimal. It's the traditional way that it was taught and developed in India. And you need to choose what's best for you. So if being flat on your back feels best for you today, do that. Here, if you want to try this at the wall, I'm pretty close to the wall. I'm going to put the block behind my heart like this. So I'm showing you here where it'll go. And you'll see when you do this that there will be a place where it feels like, wow, that is so supportive. It allows me to sit nice and erect in my spine. Then when you come in, if you're doing this in the seated position, the elbows underneath the shoulders is the best position for the upper arm bone. So to protect the shoulder joint and to support posture. And then palms can either be up for receiving or down for grounding. If you are in a more lethargic, tired place, then palms up may be good for you. Or you could put your palms down if you need to calm your energy. So do whatever it is you would like. Either come into the flat position, come into the seated position, and then go ahead and get your hands in the position. Close your eyes and start to notice what you notice when your eyes are closed. Closing your mouth. Let's wiggle the jaw back and forth, side to side. And then open and close the mouth really wide a few times. And then take your face and scrunch your face, and then let it go back to neutral and scrunch the face and let it go back to neutral. Take your head, let's inhale, looking in one direction. Your eyes are still closed. We're warming up the upper back and neck. Exhale back to center. Inhale the other direction. Exhale back to center. Inhale the other direction. Exhale back to center. Inhale the other direction. And back to center. That was rotation. Those are 2 of the spinal movements. That's the cervical spine, the neck, where most rotation exists. Let's now do side bending. If you tilt your head to the right, as if you were holding the phone on your shoulder, in between your shoulder and your ear, tilt your head to the right, and bring your head back up to center. Exhale, let your head fall in the other direction. Inhale back up to center. Exhale the other direction and back up to center. One more the other side. This is lateral flexion side to side. 2 more spinal movements. Bring yourself back to center. Keep your teeth together. Inhale. As you exhale, tuck your chin down towards your chest. Push your chin back and up. Feel that beautiful stretch up and down the back of the neck. And then inhale, teeth are together, chin up towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, chin up to the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. And inhale, chin up to the sky. And then bring yourself to neutral. Closing your eyes, couple of natural breaths here. Internal biochemical balance, internal nervous system regulation is one of the top areas to focus when it comes for bone health. So we're going to begin the Savitri Pranayama, which is a rectangle breath. I'll start with 4 on the inhale, 2 breaths to hold, 4 for the exhale, 2 breaths to hold. Then I'll move on to 6 breaths for inhale, 3 to hold, 6 for exhale, and 3 to hold. So you can determine what the best timing is for you. Visualize the rectangle as you breathe. And let's begin. Take a big exhale. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2. Adding on, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold, 2, 3. Do a couple of rounds on your own. Count, visualize that rectangle. Keep counting, keep visualizing that rectangle. Finish the round you're on and take 2 more complete rounds. When you finish, let your breath go back to the natural breathing pattern. Let your awareness stay here with the eyes closed and noticing what you notice. And start to bring some movement into your fingers, your toes. Bring your hands together and rub your hands together strongly, pretty quick, generating heat in the palms. And then cover your eyes, letting that heat soothe your eyes. And allow your eyes to gently blink themselves open. And then slowly let your hands come down. Noticing how you feel now. If you're able to feel relaxed and calm, then that's where you start to understand the power of breath work and how it stimulates the parasympathetic branch of the nervous system, which is the bone building branch of the nervous system. The sympathetic branch, the fight flight, is where our bones dissolve the minerals they store in order to manage whatever needs to be managed internally. It also, when we're in the sympathetic branch, we stop digestion. So even if you did eat bone building nutrients, your digestion will be cut off because your body thinks it needs to flee the situation and survive. So really important that we implement this internal balance, biochemical balance, nervous system regulation with breath work. Savitri pranayama, rectangle breath, can be a really powerful way to do this. I've had many people over the years tell me this is one of the ones that actually manages their mental thoughts enough to allow them to get into a deeper state of relaxation. So learn this, add it to your treasure chest of tools for your bone health, and put this in the balance of the internal balance that's necessary for us to support our bone health. All right, I don't spend enough time on breath work at that deep rate that I just did, and it really is important. This week in class, actually yesterday, I had a woman come up to me and we did that breath, and she told me that her husband, that she was doing the breath, and he said, I want to do it. And she did the breath with him, and he has a monitor for his heart rate. And he did this breath, and he, at the end of it, said, oh my gosh, look at my heart rate. His heart rate was low. I believe he has high blood pressure issues. And so he was able to regulate his breath and to actually see that he had that ability to find that internal balance when it came to his cardiovascular health. Super, super important, because heart disease is the #1 killer of women in menopause. And so something we need to take care of is also our heart or cardiovascular system. And that internal balance is something you can achieve when you do breath work. All right, let's come get your blanket and come onto all fours. Take your hands really wide. Now, having limber wrists is important for future fracture prevention. And even if this is an area that you fractured in the past, we want to try to get back as much of a bend in that wrist as possible. Because if you do slip or trip or fall, you'll put your hand down to brace yourself, and this shape will come into your wrist, and you need the tissues to be able to withstand that. So just take your hands one at a time and move back and forth, side to side like this. Makes it a little bit more manageable so you're not doing two at the same time. And if at first you need to be a little farther forward so you limit that range of motion of flexion in the wrist, you could try that. Going side to side. Now let your head be forward, so we're strengthening the upper back and postural muscles as we do this. Might seem like a really simple movement, yet we are moving back and forth side to side, so we're actually stimulating the balance centers of the brain and inside your body. Now close your eyes when you do this. You deepen that internal awareness of balance without looking, without stimulation from the visual field, or the visual aspects of balance. And then go ahead and bring yourself up. And even noticing that little amount of doing that back and forth, how much muscular action that takes. So going at the pace that works for you, come up here, let's warm up our body, get ourselves ready for some movement. Starting down low, if you have shoulder issues, The elevation of the arms is what can exacerbate that. So keep your arms in a lower plane. Don't be up here if your shoulders don't let you. Stay down here. It'll be a little bit more gentle on the shoulders. And then keeping your spine long. So before we go into anything, what is the most important thing when it comes to osteoporosis or osteopenia? If you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, especially osteoporosis, is that you maintain the length in the front of your spine. Half of the fractures are here, and they happen in the front of the spine, even if you feel the pain in the back of the body. So maintaining length in your spine is critical for bone health, for spinal health. So when it comes to what shouldn't we do when we're practicing yoga, we shouldn't flex our spine. So the movements that we do, we need to keep them in our hip joint and not in our spine. So begin by bending your hip, pushing your tushy back. If you imagine that you're closing a drawer with your tushy, that actually can give you the cueing that's necessary to get you to stay in your hip joint. Push your tushy back, flex the hip. Push your tushy back and flex the hip. Feel that happening. So when you are forward folding, you forward fold in your hip joint. And that's the biggest takeaway when it comes to staying safe, practicing yoga for bone health, is that your movements happen in the hip and not in the spine, especially in the thoracic spine. So let's warm up our body, maintaining this length and stretching all the muscles that will help to support that. Inhale to open. In yoga, when we move away from our body, when we lengthen our joints, we inhale, and we exhale when we come back to center. Inhale to lengthen, exhale back to center. Look across the room, maybe where 2/3 of the way up the wall or where the wall and the ceiling meets. You inhale to lengthen, you exhale to contract. Inhale to lengthen, exhale to contract. Moving through this movement, inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Take your arms a little higher. Inhale and hug yourself. Inhale and hug yourself. Inhale and exhale. And feel this. And then if you do have issues in your joints, if there is anything uncomfortable, if it is sticky or a little challenging, imagine you're in water when you do this. And if you add the feeling of floating and weightlessness, it can actually take some of that tension out of the joints. If you could start to go higher and bigger, especially with your gaze, you could look up at the ceiling, letting your head fall backwards, which is going to stimulate the upper back muscles. Those are the muscles that help hold you upright to protect your spine. Inhale, and then bring yourself back. Let's take the arms and move the arms in circles. Palms are forward. Inhale up, exhale down. Get a little bit bigger. And then one more. And then bring yourself back to center, noticing what you notice here. Adding a little bit of rotation into the body. So leading with the elbows, let the head follow, let the elbows go. You're going to limit yourself here because we're standing in our pelvis. So the pelvis will only go as far as it will. So just get these rotational muscles to move. Let your elbow go a little higher if that's appropriate. Then let your hand follow. Let the elbow lead the way. That's going to put the shoulder blades on the back of your body and keep you safe as you rotate. And then bring yourself back to center. The other component of balance when it comes to our internal body biochemical is that we have a lymphatic system. It's a big part of our immune system. It moves fat-soluble hormones and vitamins through our system. It's a big, big part of immune function and really important for bone health. And the way that we move the fluid through the system is with movement. So this kind of movement is moving your lymph. Here's some other things to do for lymph. So for lymph movement, which is really, really important for detoxing, really important for immune function, shaking. So shake your body, let your limbs just shake. Shake, 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 shake your body. Shake, shake, shake. Just shake, shake, shake. Shake your arms. Shake your body. And then a little patting on the underarm area. This is where the lymphatic vessels are. A little light tapping, tapping, tap on the other side. Tap, tap, tap. And then right here, a little pump action. So push your fingers in and in towards center. In, a little pumping. You could use a few fingers. You could roll your fingers, a little pumping action here. Pumping, getting our internal environment ready and balanced and unclogged. And then take your hands and use the edges of your pinkies and start to move down your neck here. You might even swallow as you're moving lymph through the system. The lymph dumps back into the heart on the left side of the body. That's where it gets cleansed. Go a little higher in your neck. Get your lymph to move down towards the heart for cleansing. And then right underneath that jawline, right up behind the ears, you could use your fingertips for this, drawing that lymph down. And then shake your fingers, shake your hands, shake your body. Now bring that into your body, a little wider stance. Shake, 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 shake. And then go ahead and stop. So moving our lymph, focusing on every day. The really cool thing about lymph is it's very close to the surface. It's not deep like the blood vessels. It's really close to the surface. So it doesn't take a lot to move it. Massage and movement is the best way. You can also do something called dry skin brushing, where you move from the extremities towards the center of your body. And all of these are important for bone health, because that's going to help to support immune function and detoxification. And toxicity is a root cause of bone loss. Inflammation, root cause of bone loss. So those are two factors that are going to be a part of this whole aspect of balancing our self-care for bone health. All right, let's get on to a little bit more movement, a little bit more here. So take your hands underneath your shoulders, spread your fingers, your knees, lift them up one at a time, and then place them back down. Toenails touch the floor, so don't bend your toes here. That'll put a little extra pressure on your knees. Flatten your toes here. And then take the right hand forward and the left hand back. Left leg back. Left leg back, right hand forward. You're going to inhale to lift both limbs off the floor. Exhale to tap down. Inhale to lift. And if this is too challenging for you, just do the leg or just do the arm. You inhale to lift. You exhale to lower. Then you're going to inhale to lift and stay here. This is called spinal balance. Flex the left leg if it's lifted. Activate the left glute. Reach long through the right arm. Keep the right arm in alignment with your ear if you can. Deep breaths here. If you'd like a little challenge, try taking your right arm out to the right, adding a little bit more balance work for the nervous system and for the muscles of the body. And then if you'd like, you could take that left leg to the left, adding a little bit more challenge. Reaching long with your limbs. So any or all of this, the gaze is forward at the front edge of your mat. Don't let your head hang. Keep the upper back working. And then bring yourself back to center. And then bring yourself out. We're going to go to the other side. Take left hand forward, right leg back. If you can lift both up, inhale to lift both. Exhale to lower, or choose one or the other. The hand is going to strengthen the upper back muscles, the leg is going to strengthen the lower back muscles, and it all strengthens spinal muscles and support muscles and balance aspects of your body. Inhale to rise, exhale to lower. On this next one, we're going to stay lifted. Flex the right foot, squeeze that right glute if your leg is lifted. Reach that left arm long, straighten that arm, try to keep it alongside your ear. Push your fingertips into the floor. You're balancing now in your left hip joint, left pelvis, activating the core muscles here. Take that left arm out to the left if you'd like to add a little bit more challenge. Keep your head looking to the front edge of your mat so your upper back and neck are still working. And then that right leg can move out to the right. Reach through that heel, activate that glute, lift that leg, lift that arm. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back to neutral, and then slowly bring yourself out. Come to rest. If your knees bend, you could sit in a low kneeling position, or you can stay in the elevated kneeling position if your knees are not happy. Close your eyes and catch your breath. Now, the internal balance of breath rate has increased. So use your breath here to slow down your breath rate. And the breath rate has increased because the muscles, there was more demand for oxygen to make cellular energy in the mitochondria of the muscle cells. So that's an indication that you're working and you're using muscles in your body. Keep your mouth closed, breathe in and out through your nose. We breathe in and out through the nose in yoga to keep the heat inside that we're developing, to clean the air that comes in our body because we have little hairs that will trap the air and the immune system will start to respond. We warm up the breath in our nose. There is this little bony structure that warms up the breath as it comes into the body. And we release nitric oxide, which is a bronchial dilator, and it expands the tubes of the lungs for deeper breath. Get that internal balance of breath to come back down close to normal rate. And then take one more breath. Open your eyes. Spinal balance, balancing cat, those are all words that I've heard this posture called. A great way for you to actually keep track of your balance. And you're close to the floor, so even if your balance is a little shaky, or if it becomes shaky, whatever is happening, you're close to the floor, so it's a safer place to test balance, versus doing a standing balance test. So this is a great way to do a test on the ground. That is one of the ways that I notice improvement in people over the years, watching people live, coming to a class in the beginning and being really shaky at their balance, and then wow, their spinal balance is improved so much. So try spinal balance for yourself. It's also, as you're doing it, strengthening the posterior chain muscles for balance. It's a diagonal pattern. The lifted leg is the low back, the lifted arm is the upper back, and that's the diagonal pattern at the back of our body that holds us upright, that protects our spine. So if you have a reading in your lumbar spine and you want to strengthen your lumbar spine, you need to stand upright and create all the forces with some of the other work and posture work. This is an important movement for that as well. So let's go into plank. We're going to strengthen the whole the anterior chain of our body. And I'd like to do this as a forearm, and I'd like to do it low down. So we're going to use a block for this. The elbows need to stay in. Make sure your elbows don't go out. That's an unstable upper body. You want that stability of the elbows in. So take your block forward and then bring your body down. So you could keep your knees and your shins on the mat if that is what you want to do today. Or you could flip your toes under and lift your knees off. Keep your head lifted. Push through the heels, bending the toes. Push the arms into the floor. Spread the fingers, spread the hands. Push the pointer finger into the block. Push the hands into the floor. Push through your heels. Close your eyes. Take an inhale. As you exhale, you're going to try to slide your feet or your knees up towards your hands strongly on the exhale, and then inhale to release. Exhale. Drag those feet up towards the elbows or the hands. This is going to activate those deep flexor muscles, those core muscles. Really important, because for balance, those are really important areas of our body that keeps us upright. Exhale, drag your feet up. Take one more breath, and then slowly bring your body down to the ground. So these postures, all of these different postures strengthen different aspects of our body that's important in a cumulative aspect to balance. We need strength, we need core, we need to have a opened, lengthened front body and a strong back body. And that's what most of us are deficient in. So some of these postures actually focus on those areas. Come up here into something called Sphinx posture and spread your hands and place your arms on the ground. Now the front body gets tight from sitting. We sit more than we used to. So we need this nice lengthened aspect of the body. I'd like you to feel a stretch here from the pubic bone area or right below the ribs. The front lower belly is where I'd like you to be experiencing the stretch here. This is called Sphinx. And then I want you to look exactly forward. So your head's lifted a little higher than usual. Push your hands into the floor. Now push your heart down towards the ground, forward, and then push away from the ground. So you add a little bit of a back bend. You lengthen the front of your body. Feel a deeper stretch there. And then if the low back is unhappy, squeeze your tushy cheeks to activate the glutes to help protect low back. Push the pubic bone towards the ground. Keep your head lifted. You're going to feel some tension in the upper back and neck. Really important for balance that your upper back and neck area is strong. This is what holds you upright. So from the strengthening part of balance in your body, these floor postures can be really important for strengthening postural muscles. Don't let yourself collapse or sag. Push forward, push away from the floor, and then breathe deeply to your belly. Take one more breath. So this is Sphinx posture. Do this, try to practice this daily. It's what we do with babies. When we want our babies to start to go from not moving or being able to walk to walking, this is how we strengthen their bodies to be upright. So this is something you could do on the bed. You do it when you wake up, roll onto your belly and strengthen your body in this way, or take a break throughout the day and lie like this. All right, now let's take some tension out of the low back. So you're gonna take your hands and you're gonna frame your lower jaw like this with your hands, with the heel of the hands, and hold onto your head down on the ground with the elbows as wide as you need them to be in order for you to get complete hold to take the whole weight of your head here. This relaxes the lumbar spine. So we strengthen our body with the postures and our spine has to work. And now this is the relaxation for the spine. Take your legs a little wider and hold your jawbone with the whole hand. And let your spine relax. Mouth is closed. Take some deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, take your elbows wide and take your forehead and rest your forehead on the back of the hands. And just let everything go. So we're going to do a pose called Cobra. And Cobra is a back bend to get the upper back to come up. So we're strengthening the upper back muscles, which are muscles that are important for posture and for balance. Take your legs long. When you press the tops of your feet into the floor, the kneecaps rise away from the floor. And then the next point of connection is the upper thigh area and the pubic bone area, which is at the base of your front torso. Push your pubic bone down towards the floor, and you'll see how that relieves the low back. Take your hands wide. I'd like the thumb and the pointer finger to be on the mat and the other three fingers to be off the mat. Now you're going to keep your elbows in at your body and keep your elbows low. Don't let your elbows go up high. Keep your elbows down low. And then imagine you're pushing a marble away with your nose as you inhale. Push your hands into the floor and pull your hands back to push your head forward to bend your spine, like a turtle coming out of its shell. And then you exhale to lower. Forehead touches the ground. Inhale, the nose pushes a marble away. Pull the floor back. And exhale to lower. Close your eyes and feel the work of the back body doing this. You inhale, push your hands down, pull your hands back, push your chest forward, lift your head up. Exhale to lower. On the next one, we're going to come up and stay up. Stay here now. Pull your hands back. Keep your elbows down. Push your pubic bone towards the ground. If low back is unhappy, squeeze the glutes. Take your hands off the floor. If your body lowers, stay down where it's low. I want this to be the back muscles are holding you up, not pushing away from the floor. Push your hands down and slide them back to pull your body as forward as you can. Push the shoulders away from the ears. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Push the shoulder blades forward to push forward your chest. Feel that strength in the back of your body. Your back muscles are holding you up against gravity in this back bend. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bring yourself down. Take your elbows out to the side. Put the hands one on top of each other. Take the feet really wide, bend the knees, and let your feet flop side to side. Breathe to your belly, slow your heart rate down, let your body relax. Then let your legs go down, bring your arm out to the side. Come onto your side, take a couple of breaths here. Take your hand as you push yourself up. When it comes to balance, there are foundational components to balance. If you just practice balance by standing up and practice standing in a tree pose or a single leg posture, and you're wobbling all over the place, it's going to be defeatist. It's going to make you feel that you don't have good balance. We need to establish the foundation, and the foundations that are going to strengthen your body are best done, in my experience, in my own body, and thousands of people I've worked with over the years, is do the floor work, do the back bending work, do the work where you're pushing away from the floor or pulling, and do the postures of yoga that start to build that foundational aspect of balance, so that when you do stand and you challenge yourself with harder movements, your body is more receptive. It'll help you be more successful, which will give you more confidence to do more. So make sure that you do not let go of the foundational aspects of balance when it comes to practicing strengthening your balance. This next posture I'm going to do is a balancing half moon, and it is a modification because we're going to do it down on the ground. Now, balancing half moon is balancing on the side of your hip joint, which is not a place we normally live. So doing it on the ground is a great place, and I would say the first step is to do it at a wall. It's a very hard posture to do without a wall if you're new. And even if you're not newer to the practice of yoga, if you're new to doing this, most of us never challenge our hip joint on the side like this. And so in my experience, this is something that many are unable to do in the middle of the room without the wall at first. And when you do the wall, it gives you all this feedback. So I'm going to use a wall. I'm going to guide it through a wall. If you don't have access to a wall, find the back of a sofa to do this on. Find a piece of furniture to do this on. Something where your hip can be stable up against a solid surface. It could be in your chair, the back of the sofa, a chair that doesn't move. So it's not easy to do it with a folding chair. So find a location that you could do this. It's really, really amazing to do this at a wall. So the setup for this is you need a blanket and you need a block. So get a blanket and get a block for this. And then of course a wall or the side of something to do it with. So we're gonna go with the left side first. And you want your left body to be close to the wall. Your left hip should probably be about 3 inches from the wall. And then I'm going to show you with my right leg because I want to show you what this looks like. You want to slide your left foot to the wall. The pinky toe edge will be touching the wall. So you slide your foot off to the side. So the left foot is touching the wall. Then your left hand goes on the ground. Take the block and bring the block down by your waist on the tallest edge. And then you're gonna bring yourself up into the side of that left hip and put your foot on the floor at first. And then bring your right arm up against the wall and bring your back against the wall. So you're trying to get both buttocks to touch the wall here. And then lift that right leg. Look down, you want the right leg to be in alignment with your hip. And this is where the wall can be tremendous for getting you in this posture, which develops the strength in your joints and in your muscles to stay here. And the memory in the nervous system that this shape exists in your body. And then you can try this away from the wall because it's a tremendous balance posture when you're away from the wall. So do this here to strengthen the foundations in the joints for joint coordination and balance, because that's where balance, a big part of balance is physically, is in the joints with joint coordination. And the joints trying to figure out where your body is. Keep that leg lifted, flex the feet, pull the toes towards you. This is side body, glute medius, a really important lateral chain muscle. Is so important to develop strength here for hips, for spine, for pelvis, for knees, and for balance. Take one more breath. And then you're slowly gonna roll yourself out of this, back into that front of your hip capsule where we're used to living and used to being. And go slow as you move yourself physically through one position in your body. Allow the calibration of your blood vessels. So we talk about the nervous system when it comes to balance. We also need to understand that our blood vessels and blood pressure and the delivery of the fluids in the body is another part of balance. And as you move from one position to the next, blood pressure needs to calibrate to give the blood to the muscles for you to be in a different position. So the positional aspect of movement, slow down as we age, slow down as we move, because it takes a little longer sometimes for your body to calibrate, which is why you could get dizzy and see stars and potentially fall. Our blood vessels are the age that we are. And so they get wrinkles on the inside. They lose their pliability. And depending on who you are, what your life journey has been, how much stress, trauma, or drama you've experienced, your blood vessels have been dilating, contracting, dilate, contract, dilate, contract. They are muscular. And the stronger in a muscular sense they become, the less receptive they are in rebalancing your position. So lots of factors when it comes to balance. It is not just stand on one leg, oh, my balance is great, or oh, it isn't. No, this is the awareness that the internal balance of blood pressure matters with movement and body position in space. So slow down to be more safe when it comes to balance for fall prevention. Let's go to the other side. So now we're going to come to the other side. So about 3 inches from the wall with the right side, right hand is on the floor, slide the right foot off to the side. Take the block right by the waist, and then let your right hip touch the wall. Let your left foot touch the floor. Let your left hand touch the wall, and then lift the left leg. Look down and make sure it's in alignment with your hip. That takes a lot of muscular action. Push that left heel into the wall, pull the left toes towards you, keep that left leg elevated. And then you're going to feel the neck, because the head and neck here has to also be held up against gravity. Balancing half moon. Try to get the left buttock, that top tushy cheek, to touch the wall. And that is you rolling into the side of that hip capsule, putting pressure in the side of your hip. Take one more breath. When you come out gracefully. You're in your hip on the side. So can you roll forward softly, gracefully? Now I'd like to give you a little play here to see what balancing half moon is like away from the wall. So let's come onto the left side. Take your hands into your shoulders. Bring the block right about your hip. Spread your fingers, slide your left foot off to the side, and bring your right foot onto the ground. Look down. You want the right foot to be in alignment with your knee. If it's forward and your body is forward, you're going to fall forward. So slide that leg back. Put your hand on the block if you need. Now bring your hand up to your waist. Bring the right leg up. Really hard to look down to make sure that you're in alignment here. You're going to notice away from the wall, there's much more communication, balance in that hip joint. Bring yourself up. This is balancing half moon. If you want to add a little bit more, you could flex the right foot, reach back, take hold of the right foot, and come into the back bend aspect of the balancing half moon, stretching the quads, the leg muscles, and balancing in that left hip joint. Bring yourself back and bring yourself out. Let's go to the other side, noticing this posture and where it can be a very challenging posture, challenging for most. It's one of the more challenging postures I see people struggling with in a group class. Take your right foot off to the side. Come onto that right hip joint. Look down. That right foot is in alignment with that knee. Take your left hand up towards the sky and bring your left leg up. Feel the balance here, the communication in your hip joint. From here, if you want to go into the next level, you could reach that left foot back. Take a hold of that left foot. Lengthen your spine. Push the foot into the hand into the foot. Take one more breath, back to neutral, and then slowly bring yourself out. So practice that, add that to your balance treasure chest. That's called balancing half moon. That's actually the modification. That is the floor version. And there, of course, is the standing version where you come onto one leg like that. Okay. So we're going to come to standing. I like to come to standing often through a squat position, so we get an opportunity to strengthen our legs. Take your hands wide, take your knees wide, take your feet wide. Look through your knees, and you should not be able to see your feet. That's how wide they are. And then push yourself back, lift your knees up, and walk your hands back so that your feet touch the floor. Walk your feet as wide as your mat, and then bring your hands on top of your thighs. You could stay here. This is that deep fold, that deep bend in the hips we're looking for. Or you could bring your hands forward to add a little bit more in this. Push your body weight back so that your toes lift off. You're in your glutes. Push your tushy back like you're trying to close a drawer behind you. Farther behind you the tushy is, the more weight in the back body. You should be able to see your whole entire front ankle and front foot here. Take one more breath and then bring yourself slowly up, because you need the calibration of the blood pressure so you don't see stars and potentially fall. And then clear your space. So the standing poses or postures in yoga are where we challenge ourselves with balance. I recommend you do a lot of foundational strengthening in your joints and communication in your body before you do too much challenge in the standing postures. You'll develop that strength necessary to then bring it into the upright position. So finding alignment in your body so your communication can be balanced. The mountain posture gives us that. So lift the toes, spread the toes, put your feet on the floor. Take your hands down alongside your body. So when you're doing your own practice of yoga, starting with mountain, you may balance your nervous system and your awareness and your joint communication by staying here for 5 to 10 breaths. Or you could have a second hand and you could do this for 30 seconds, getting that feeling. Push the front of the foot into the floor, the heel into the floor. Push the top thighs back. Squeeze the tushy and pull the tailbone down towards the ground to neutralize the pelvis, to put the pelvis in a neutral position. And then lengthen your spine, push down with your hands, down with your shoulders, and then feel the front clavicle bones above the heart lifting up towards the sky. Push your head back so it's an extension of your torso, of your rib cage. Chin is parallel towards the ground, not looking up and not pointing down. Your head is back and your gaze is straight ahead. Couple more breaths here. And then release. Don't underestimate the power of the mountain posture to feel that calibration and that where your body is in space. It gives you a lot of indication of what you need to focus on. So we're going to go into tree, which is a traditional balanced posture. I'd like to do it a little differently today. And there's many variations of tree. It's one of the oldest and most traditional postures in the practice of yoga. So coming from mountain, let's go to the left first. Push all of your body weight to the left, then bend the right toes. Make sure all 5 of them are bending. And then I want you to turn the knee out to the side and bring the right foot on top of the left foot and push the right heel into the left lower leg bone. A little bit more challenging to do this because there's a lot of central positioning in your body. So your body is having more of a challenge to figure out where's the right side, the left side, the front, the back. You don't have your limbs far enough away for it to be a lot of right side or a lot of left side. Hands are down. You could bring your hands up if that position works good for you. To strengthen the balance, if you're having a lot of challenge, putting your hands back will activate back muscles. You could bring your arms higher. You could challenge yourself here even more by letting your head move around. Ooh. You could look up. And then if you wanted even more, you would do the visual field. So you could close one eye, close the other, or close both. And I only recommend that for those of you that feel pretty confident with your balance. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself slowly back into the Tadasana mountain pose, back into here. Now we're gonna go to the other side. Push yourself over, bend the opposite, so the left toes bend, left knee out to the side. Bring the left foot on top of the right foot and push the left heel directly into the front of the lower leg bone in the shin. And from here, what is your challenge for you? Maybe this in and of itself is enough challenge. You try hands on the waist, elbows back, arms to the side, a little higher. You could start looking all over the place. If you do fall out of it, that's great. That means you challenge yourself even more. And the more you do that, the more you're going to grow. Feel your ankle and your foot, all that communication in your foot happening. Head up, head around if you can. And then, of course, if you need to do this at a wall or with a chair, you do that. Then if you're going to try the eyes, only if that's where you are in your practice. I don't recommend that for new people. I don't recommend that for people who already have balance that has not yet become stronger, because everything is possible and you can increase your balance. I see it happen, hear it happen all the time. Take one more breath and then bring yourself back to neutral, back to the mountain, and then back to free. So I like to do a standing balancing half moon because this is probably one of my most favorite, and because the side body gets so weak with age, and the side body, especially that glute medius muscle, is so important for balance, for health, for bone health, for fall and fracture prevention. This is going to really get you in the side. It's the side of the standing leg because there's compressive force in the pelvis, and then the lifted leg is activating that glute medius in order to get the activation there. So doing this at a wall, highly recommend this unless you have a pretty strong practice. Be near a wall, let's get a block. Now a block, I have a pretty decent range of motion in my legs. For those that have tighter bodies and if you haven't done a lot to warm up your muscles, lengthen your muscles, then you might need a chair to rest on, to put your hand on. So if you know you're on the tighter side or your body's not quite warm, then go ahead and get a chair, or you could do a block. So let's do this. You take the block on the ground of the side you're gonna do. We're gonna do left side. And you're pretty close to the wall, about 3 inches from the wall. And then you load into that front leg. So the back leg, you start to take the pressure out of there. You're really loading in that front leg. And then you reach down to get the block. Now here, from a safety perspective of what shouldn't you do when you're practicing yoga for osteoporosis, you don't want to round the spine. So if going down causes you, if you can't stay in the hip when you flex forward, then get a chair. And then you bring yourself into the balancing half moon, lifting the right leg up, trying to put both buttocks on the wall, both shoulder blades on the wall, and keep your leg as high as your body. You could look down if you could see to make sure your leg is there. And then the standing leg, don't lock the knee, slight flexion in that knee. Now push that top leg into the floor so you're activating the glute, all parts of the glute here. And this is going to strengthen the lower body and this whole entire aspect of what we need for good balance. Now try to push both tushy cheeks onto the floor. That's another challenging thing. Get yourself into the side of that hip capsule so that femur bone pushes into the acetabulum. The readings on the DEXA scan look at the neck of the femur. And so this is stimulating the neck of the femur, really precarious place to fracture if you fall. This is actually my hip replacement that I'm standing on, which is always fascinating to me. Getting that, feel that burning in that upper leg, staying here a little longer. The longer you hold the postures, the more intense they are, the more muscles you're going to build. Take one more breath. And then bend the standing leg, slowly bring yourself back to neutral, bring yourself forward, bring yourself out, go slow for balance, for calibration of one body position to the next. Let's go to the other side. So you're going to take the right foot on the ground. You're going to use the block or the chair, whatever is best for you, something that you lean on. The flexion comes in the hip joint, not in the spine. See how I could roll down with, this is all spine, nothing is happening here in my hip. It's all spine to come down, or I could keep my spine straight, push my tushy back, bend my hip to bring myself down, and I feel that lengthening the back muscles. So bring your right foot, right pinky toe edge parallel to the wall, lift that left leg, and then the goal here is to get both tushy cheeks to touch the wall so that you come into the side of the hip, really push that left leg into the wall, lift that left leg, keep that arm up, and stay nice and strong here in the balancing half moon. Pay attention to that standing leg, slight bend in the knee, slight, so you're not locked in your knee. Push the left leg, lift the left leg, push the tushy cheeks towards the wall, push the shoulder blades towards the wall. Active, active, active. Take one more breath. Then you slightly bend your standing leg to dismount safely and bring yourself up back into your Tadasana. All right, so another thing, so we need to balance the practice. If you do a harder practice, we want to let go of anything, any negative mind, any super challenging things. We're going to do 3 rounds of whoosh, W-H-O-O-S-H. Grab from the ceiling, take a big inhale. Again from the sides. Grab, 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 grab. Hold tight. And then one more, grab, 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 grab. Hold tight. Let's come down into Shavasana, posture of integration, allowing everything you practice to find the new memory of length, of strength, of balance, of coordination in your body. Go ahead and get what you need. And get a strap. So have a strap as well. We'll settle the body. Get your strap as well. We'll settle the body before we go into Shavasana. Make sure when you come down bending your hips, bending your knees, not your spine. Bring yourself all the way down onto the ground and then grab your strap. Let's balance our legs, our hips, our pelvis. Take your legs pretty wide here with the strap, wider than your body. And then pull the legs back to stretch the low back, to stretch the glutes, to stretch the hamstrings. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Keep the soles of the feet pointing up towards the sky. And then bend the knees, pull the knees down, soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Deep breaths here, close your eyes. Deep breaths. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself out of this. Coming into final rest, Shavasana. Take your legs long. Take your arms down alongside your body. Stay with your breath. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Start to wiggle your fingers, your toes. Slowly bending one knee at a time and then drawing one leg at a time into your chest. Rock side to side and then onto your side. And from here, use your pushing muscles to push yourself up to a seated position. We're going to close the practice with sound. So take your hands together, rub your hands together. Press your hands to your heart to your hands. Sit nice and tall, tucking your chin down towards your chest. A gentle humming sound to end the practice. Exhale. Inhale deeply. Hands to forehead, bowing at the hip joint forward, not in your spine. In gratitude to yourself for showing up, for practicing, for learning, for growing, and for focusing on balance inside and outside, mind and body. Namaste. All right, so let me hear how that was for you all. And then Arlene, I did quite a bit to talk about what you should and shouldn't do. Hopefully you got that. So anybody like to like this? If you like this, subscribe if you're not subscribed, share with a friend. I really want to say that the best place to interact with me, I get emails all the time asking questions. When I send out my newsletters, I get all these questions. I cannot answer emails and do all that. What I do now is I have a community, Stronger Bones Lifestyle. And if you want to have actually interaction with me quite a bit, like pretty much all the time, I recommend that you join my community. And that is where you're going to get me, because I go in there all the time. And right now I'm doing a lot in there. My Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones program is going on in there, but I do a lot. We're doing challenges every week. We do cooking classes every month. We have guest speakers. We just had another MD. I mostly at this point have MDs. My last 6 out of 7 guest experts have been MDs, and it's mostly who I am with in the bone health world. So it's your opportunity to get a lot of your questions answered. I just put that up there. That's the link for it. Yeah, you know what, Terry? So this week I did some of those new ones. So the tree pose with your foot on top of the other foot, not so easy. Looks like it could be a balance, a different one, like an easier one. It's not. It's more challenging. So yeah, there's that. You're welcome, Beth. So good to have you here. Arlene, awesome. That's great. I'd love to see you in my community. You can actually join for 7 days for free and see what it's about. That's really where I'm putting my time and energy. Right now, we're talking a lot about supplements, about gut lining repair. So important when it comes to bone health to reduce inflammation. So I do have a program, Healthy Gut, Healthy Bones, where we heal our gut. Cannot have healthy bones without a healthy gut. And I share supplement recommendations in my community, even if you're not in that program. So check that out. 7 days for free. And actually, there'll be a discount. So I think that link leads to it's $27 a month. And I think that link is a $35 a month. If you do join it, will you email me support@Debbie Robinson so you could get the discounted rate of the 27 per month and not that link? Thank you for being here. I get to be strong and have good balance and be flexible because of all the teaching that I do. So the fact that you're here and I'm able to do this, thanks for the thumbs up. Share it with a friend that needs to see this. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. All right. I'll see those of you that are in the community. I'll see you. I have a lot of surprises for October, end of the year surprises. So anyway, see you soon. Bye.